Okay, now that should work. Whoa. All right, there we go. Hey. All right, I sent the request. Should be coming on here momentarily. How you guys doing out there? Doing good? Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Hey. Hey. Okay, cool. Just trying to make sure because I sent my person a request. They're not here yet. Unable to join. No. Hold on, let's see. That's so weird. Okay, let's try one more time. Oh, hey, are you there? I'm sorry, you guys. Technology is not like my best thing. I see him. Oh, he joined. Kinda. Okay. Yeah.
What is?
What's up?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me. Let me back this up a little bit.
Okay.
Trying to get Benny in my shot, you know.
Cool. Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Happy
Good.
Sunday.
Yes. Happy Sunday to you. What are you sipping on this evening?
That $2 bottle of wine from Aldi.
Sounds good to me. I got
This
some
is
good H2O.
Sauvignon Blanc, you know. What do you have?
I got some water.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Good H2O today. I haven't really been feeling any wines. I haven't found any lately.
I'm honestly not a big wine connoisseur. I do dabble in the occasional winery. I love going to like wineries, but I really don't really do too much other wine than Sauvignon Blancs or white wines. Cabernets, anything red, I can't really do them.
Yeah, I have to have a sweet red. Like all of those are too much for me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Well, yes, Jarell Williams, will you tell us all about yourself? Sorry, you want to introduce yourself? While we
Yeah.
do.
Tamika, thank you for having me. I appreciate it first and foremost.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm honored. Thank you.
Man. Yeah, I am Jarell Williams, creator, owner of the brand Namarama. Namarama is, in a nutshell, a creative space that I hold within my head and actually in the physical form where I just execute the ideas that kind of come to mind, whether it be things that I've been inspired by that I've seen in my travels or just things that I have kind of just thought of myself. And I work with, people who are like-minded to myself to support local business, local love, and just creativity to showcase that, local business for what it is, to put a spotlight on hardworking individuals, putting a name and putting themselves out there and representing where they come from. And it's incredible, man.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Yes. And everybody just want to say I met Jarell like years ago. I was when I first started going to ODU in 2010, like I would see him at a bunch of events and I would just always see this smiling burger. And I was just like, what is that? Like I need to know who this is. And because they think like me. Like I would definitely make a burger smile. Like why not?
I
Why not?
can't take credit for the burger. My man
Oh, okay.
Prentice, his name, he goes by Nims, or he used to go by Nims, but Prentice Carroll actually got a couple pieces of his hanging in the house.
Right.
Homie of mine, he's from Richmond, and this is back when I was super influenced by streetwear culture, brands like Johnny Cupcakes or the Hundreds and stuff like this. Is maybe early mid 2000s, I guess. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So anyway, he came up with I told him what I wanted, with the logo that I had an idea for. It's like I want the Jordan Jumpman, but like a burger, and he killed it. So his name is Benny, and
Nice.
that's the logo. I'm glad you were seeing it around back then. That was always the goal, is
Yeah,
brand recognition, So
definitely. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So we're going to be talking about, well, actually, first, what are your creative tools that you have tonight? What are you going to be using to create with
uh,
us?
a box of markers and crayons that my kids use daily.
Hmm, sounds good to me.
Yeah, and my partner's clipboard and some paper.
All right, bet. Okay, well, I'm just gonna be using some paint and brushes and my big old canvas here.
I like that.
And
Should have done that.
okay, so we're gonna be talking about vision.
Okay.
So your catchphrase or slogan or mission, if you will, is really out here spreading that local love. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
Yeah. Like I was saying, like with what the brand represents, it says local. That is what it is. Local love. Where you from, represent your hometown, represent where you love, whether it be here or New York or wherever you're from.
Mhm.
We have a job. It's our duty to support the businesses where we live, to spread the love to our neighbors, and to pick them up and say whatever you're doing is dope. So
Right.
to go into these businesses, or whether it be supporting a local artist or a musician for that matter, just being local at heart, and then that's love, right? So local love.
Mhm. Nice. I love that. Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. Because there's a lot of places in the 757 specifically that don't get shown the gratitude and love they should, definitely. I think
Yeah,
there's a lot of gems out there. Like just you wouldn't see them first, just looking just a normal person, I guess, because I didn't think that anything else was out there but ODU and NSU. But
yeah,
then when I met you guys and started going to different art shows and stuff like that, it was just like, oh man, there's so much out here to do. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
yeah.
It's
And I
great.
think it's not, it's no hard, no like slack against yourself. We all do that, right? We're like, it's out of sight, out of mind. Is what I learned earlier on. Um,
Right.
we're marketed with stuff, all the time. People are trying to sell us stuff left and right, no matter where we look. So
Right.
to be able to tune that out and then look around, what you have is right in front of you, it can be a little difficult. So if it's out of
Mhm.
sight, it's out of mind. That's what I always say. But not until somebody makes it known. It's like, yo, did you know that this was here? It's like, oh, actually, I didn't. So at the beginning of this, a lot of people who were from the area would say that exactly. Like, man, I've been living here for 10 some years and didn't even know that was right down the street from my house. And it's like, well,
Mhm.
just kind of open your eyes and kind of look for it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yes, I love that. Always looking for the opportunities and just the beauty and everything. I love that.
yeah,
So
exactly.
when you're out there doing all your work and just spreading, awareness about other people and making them see the beauty in these other things, how do you make sure that you take care of your own mental health?
Um, I honestly, not up until maybe 3 years ago did I really start to really pay attention to it. Um,
Mhm.
so I come from the corporate world, right? Before going into business for myself, so I had, you know, the career. I was in sales. I worked and helped build sales teams for multiple startup companies. Had a sales team and all that. And then my goal, everything was about my job, about my family too, but everything was about for work. And, I'm putting in the hours. I'm, driving to work, to commute in the car and all this and that, happy, or as I thought, and then was just stressing, in certain cases was blowing off steam in other ways that I, was just like, man, I need to get out of this in some way. So Namarama was always like a hobby of mine, but it was also, I recognize now that it was like an escape. You know what I mean? It was a creative escape where I respected what I did for work. I respected the people that I worked for, but maybe had I not had the outlet to be creative in Namarama, I don't know what I would have done. So not until doing more for self and like working to build the business that I start to really pay attention to my feelings and, my stress management. But yeah, it's Namarama definitely helps me a lot. So has helped me a lot too.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's how I feel about Evoke Nations. Like he said, like it definitely helped me in a way. Like it's to heal me, like to help others through art and stuff. Like this is definitely therapeutic for me. Like it helps me stay in line, definitely. So I agree with you. Like I don't know where I would be without art. Like I don't know where I would be.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. Art is everything. Art is everything.
For sure. So, can you describe what the word vision means to you?
Vision to me, anything. If you have a strong passion towards something and you want to do anything, it could be, like I said, an idea, it could be just a concept or whatever, or just a feeling. My partner Heidi Joy and I talk about like conviction a lot, and if you are strong set on something, you are absolute about it. And you can articulate that, whether you can't articulate it completely or you can visually see, like what this is. It makes you feel, right? It's just and that takes over you. You can't do anything but think about this vision. Like I know where I'm going with it. It's not really describing what it is, but more like a feeling for me.
I see. I like how you're describing it as like a noun, because when I think, that makes me think of it differently, because I usually think of it as like a plan. So like something you're doing, like a verb. Like, but I like that too. So that's good. It definitely did describe. So yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. My man Elbridge, my partner Heidi Joy, art is life. My man Elbridge, mental health question is so important, because Elbridge and Heidi Joy, we all talk about this kind of stuff now. It's important to be able to talk about it and not feel like you're alone in your thoughts. So
definitely, especially like, I don't know about you as a creative, but I always feel like all my thoughts are just too off the wall to share with anyone. So sometimes I get so just inside my head and not want to share, like, my vision at all. Do you ever deal with that? Do you ever struggle?
We all do. It's human. Yeah. We all do. My mom was just here in town, and I said the exact same words to her. It was like, the number one killer of like ideas is self-doubt, to where it's also a lot of like, it's predominantly outside force and outside influence, where people have told me all my life I'm a lot. I am always in my feelings. I'm emotional. Yada yada yada. It's like, you're extra. Yada yada yada. It's like, but man, that's what makes us special. That's what makes us beautiful, and like to be able to tap into our emotions and really respond to what our bodies are telling us. They're red flags. They're feelings for a reason. They help you to feel and process through stuff. So if you don't listen to that kind of stuff, it's like, you might find yourself in a precarious situation. So
yeah, definitely. I like that. Warning signs. They're definitely warning signs. Like, you have to pay attention to your body. Like, I was telling, that's really funny. I was telling my friend the other day, I had an experience with one of my eyes, which is why I always draw an eye. I went blind in my right eye for like 3 weeks. Um,
Whoa.
and yeah, so I was just telling her like just different things have happened in my life to where I'm just being like so stubborn and won't move on to the next thing or do what I'm supposed to do. And it just feels like life, God, whoever, like it's just like, okay, I gotta shut this part of your body down for
Yeah.
you to actually focus on, what is going on and what you're supposed to be doing. So
Yeah, and
mm,
taking things as like signs, if you will, and
right.
whatever it may be to you, that's how you're processing it for sure.
Yeah.
That's wild. So did it come back? It came back?
Yes. It did come
Wow.
back. Thank God. Came back.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. It was crazy. But I will definitely be talking to everybody more about that. So
Yeah.
for
Okay.
sure. But have you ever fallen into like comparing your journey or your vision to others and then
Uh,
feeling some type of way?
of course. Of course. I try my hardest not to now. Well, I don't try. I don't as much as I used to now. But of
Mm,
course, of course. Um, like I said, I come from the sales industry. So it's
mhm,
like there's a product and then there's like whatever the direct competition is right next to
mm,
it, right at its heels. So in certain
mm,
cases, like a lot of how I started, I was building off of something again that I had seen in travels. So I was okay, I like how they're doing it, but this is how I'm
mhm.
gonna do it. So by nature I was comparing like side by
Right.
side all the time. Even when it came down to the products or the tools I was using to create. I got into
Mhm,
this with my iPhone, and out the gate comparing uh, SLR cameras to the technology on whatever new iPhone was coming out. So comparing that was major. But yeah, I think
mhm,
we all compare. I mean, it's always good to try to stay away from comparing yourself to others or comparing yourself and finding like, why am I not doing this and this and this? I always get those questions, but we
mhm.
all do it to a certain degree, but when it starts to negatively impact how you maneuver and what you do for yourself, that's when it's like, okay,
Mhm.
it's becoming an issue. So maybe lay off or fall back a little bit.
Right. See, and that's exactly what I was going to ask you next. Like, how do you know when, okay, this is hindering what's going on with me personally? Like, I am really focusing on everyone else way too much.
Yeah. When you start to see you're getting further from your vision, like we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
like for me, a vision is like a feeling for me. So if I start to either second guess or maybe start to think negatively about myself because of something
Mm-hmm.
that I saw somebody else was doing. It's like I have to check myself.
Right.
That is them. I am me. They are not me. I'm going to do me regardless of what they do because they're going to do them regardless of what I do. So I can't let somebody's actions affect how I maneuver. In any case, sure there are things you can that can affect you and can make a change for you, whatever, for the better, for the good. But to continually like try to process through whatever you're doing by trying to nip at somebody else's heels and comparing yourself to them, it won't get you anywhere.
Yeah. So when you see yourself getting into that, or I guess, yeah, when you see yourself getting into that, how do you combat it? Like, how do you stay away from things like that? Is there like a practice you have to go into to make sure you build yourself back up?
Contrast, contrast. This is big for me. Past 2 3 years, honestly, is what like it's helped me tremendously. We always get like into the new year. All right, talk about your New Year's resolution and what you're gonna
Mhm.
do next year. It's always trying to cut the year in
Right.
early. It's like, okay, we in November, December. Let's talk about January, whatever, whatever. It's like, but wait,
Yeah.
we still in the year. We still got months
Right.
left. I did
Right.
all this shit. I'm not ready to let it go yet. I want to still
Yeah.
talk about things that I did. So give yourself time to reflect, and think
Mhm.
about where you were when the year started. and then to where you are now, or like where you were this time last year, in contrast to where you are now. And that immediately, like every day, the most simplest times where I was just like driving to the store and on like a weekday, where like typically I was okay at this point, 3 years ago, I would have been in like an office doing something for somebody else. And again, I'm not anti 9 to 5 or whatever, but in my experience, I'm jaded. So I compare and contrast where I was then to where I am now, right? Where it's like, okay, I would be in an office doing something for somebody else, but right now I'm driving in my car to go get this I'm doing something with this person. Why am I doing this with that person? I wasn't doing this last year, but what got me to this point?
Right.
So as opposed to comparing what Johnny down the road is doing, it's like, okay, but what am I doing? What was I doing last year compared to what I'm doing now? So to be able to contrast those two efforts in my life has really helped me. So I would recommend everybody, if you get to a point where you are second guessing yourself or you are comparing yourself and trying to keep up with the Joneses, as they say, take a second and think about where you were and where you at and why you're doing it and where you're going.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, definitely, definitely. It's reflection is so important. Like, and I've just started to get into that a lot myself as well. Realizing, like you said, the progression, like I wasn't doing this a year ago, or, I wouldn't have been here doing this. And you just have to look at the little wins too, because they're really big. It's making a difference. Those
Wins are
things are
wins.
making,
Wins are wins. And it's all
definitely.
perspective on how you look at things too.
Right. Right. I that's funny that you mentioned that. Like, that's what I always try to tell myself now too. Like, what glasses am I looking at this situation from? Or like, is that the old pair of glasses I had, or my contacts? Like, I just try to always put on different lenses for all the different stuff that I'm doing. Like, because I'm a teacher, and
Yeah.
like I do this, or I'm at work, just different things. So I have to look at it in, different perspectives. So you got to be very flexible as well.
Yeah, nah, facts. Absolutely. Again, I'm not anti 9 to 5. I learned a lot from my corporate, experience, but like being able to pivot, in sales is important,
Yeah.
especially in startup world where things change at the drop of a hat. Being in a company where you employee 9 or whatever, and just seeing the way that the companies work and how they have to maneuver and how they have to pivot. Look at COVID, for example. All these businesses that had to pivot and adapt immediately. There's no other way around it. So when you think
Right.
about like your own personal self, it's like we have to do that. It's
Yeah.
difficult, yeah, but like, what you gonna do about it? It's like there are
Yeah.
things that are out of our control. So with that being said, it's like you better start learning how to just pivot, adapt.
Right. Yes. And keep moving. Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Because those things used to hold me up a lot. So with that,
Wait,
like,
wait, wait,
how
wait, 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 wait. Side note, that's beautiful, by the way.
thank you.
I got
Thank
something I'm working on here, but it's
you.
nothing near that. So
Man, I'm just going, like, this is making me think about so much.
good.
Um, but thank you. I appreciate it. How long did it take you to bring your vision to life?
I'm still bringing it to light. Again, there's all kind of shit swirling up here that I haven't even touched on. Things that I've been wanting to do forever, just waiting for the time to do it. But
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know. At one point, I was saying a year that I started Namarama, but it wasn't. It was the year that I graduated college. Because I've been doing things in this light for years, whether it be under another brand. I had a clothing company back in high school and the college called Ended Ignition. It wasn't local business driven, but it was a small business. But the idea behind it, the tagline there was ignite your inner being.
Oh,
To where that highly and hella translates over to what I do now. Um,
right.
but still working in that mindset. But I guess Namarama, 2015, 16 maybe. But again, just as a hobby. I didn't know what I was doing. I tried a burger pop-up. For the very first thing I did was a burger pop-up.
Yeah.
This is
Which
back
is
at
very dope, by the way.
huh?
It was very dope, by the way, which is very cool. That was
Did you
very dope.
go? I mean, this is before the events.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
burger pop up, like it was over there by in like downtown Norfolk, right?
No, no. This is the
Okay,
very
I
my
know.
very first pop-up. I wanted to Namarama was supposed to be like a food pop-up. I was supposed to be the cook. I was the one
Okay.
making the burgers because at the very beginning of this, big fan of Munchies. You know, the Munchies, the Vice network
Mhm.
showcase. They were doing like food content, all this kind of stuff. Uh,
Oh, man.
Maddie Matheson, Eddie Wong, all these cats, killing it, killing it, killing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, back then I wanted to do something in food, so I tried to do a
Mhm.
burger pop up. Shout out to my man Michael, Mike Apply. He got me a spot at this Fuzz 79 in Virginia Beach.
Mhm.
And I made ramen burgers. I did like smash patties, or I tried to, but learned very quickly that I wasn't a chef. You know, it's a lot of work being
Mhm.
a chef. I have hella respect, hella love and respect for my chef homies out there. I was burning burgers, you know, undercooked burgers. But at that point, I was like, I still love like the mind of a chef. So I started to just showcase and like spotlight homies and like restaurants that were doing it. And that's where it started. Again, I don't remember the year, 15, 14, 16, around that
Okay.
time, but that's where it started. And again, today I am just achieving my goals, you know, reaching for the stars and things that I wanted to do when I was in college, you know, as a kid, I'm doing today, you know,
Mhm.
and it's amazing, bro.
Yeah, and it's just so awesome to see you like just on like social media and stuff, like doing your thing, and then I see you like out and about with your sons and stuff, and then I think I seen you before I left Norfolk. I seen you at the Slover. I think you
hmm
guys had like a forefront with your like a cutout of you, and I was
Oh,
like, that is
At
yes,
Selden, yeah.
yes, that was so cool. Like, it's inspiring to me because
Thank you.
just to see the different steps you're taking, I'm just like, that's really cool. So,
Thank you. Again, it's dream come true, man. It's a dream come true. And again, it's not, I always downplay it, you know, it's like, I'm just another guy, you know, I'm just a dude
right.
that had a dream and it's so cool because like growing up, like I said, working in corporate, I had to commute. I was listening to podcasts, you know, a lot of people that I was inspired by, of course, you know, Kanye, one of my big influences, Will Smith, you know, one of my
Mhm.
big influential people that I looked up to, my father for sure, my mom for sure, and then just like people who were creating around me, my brother, um, people who would be doing like notable speakers would say the same thing. Like once you become like who you truly are, then
Mhm.
you will start to kind of unlock those things for yourself and just start moving the way you need to be moving, basically.
Right.
And I got to a point where I started getting more comfortable with myself, being more confident in what I was doing, and was like, okay, I see there's value in what I'm doing. You know, it's amassing an audience. So I started to recognize like, hey, well, if I can put this effort in for these other people,
Right.
um, and again, I'm not against it, but I'm jaded. I'll just put out there. I've been laid off 4 times, and it's like every single time I try to put effort and shit together. But
Yeah.
anyway, once I started to do more for self, and I was like, I'm putting all my energy into this. I believe in this. My vision is
Right.
this. I don't know exactly where I want to go with it, but like I
Mhm.
feel where I need to go and what I need to be doing to get there. And
Mhm.
once I started to do that for self is when shit just started to unlock, you know, and the idea of laws of attraction, real,
Mm,
you know, manifestation,
for
big
sure.
real, big time real. You set your mind to it, you can do it. All those
Yeah.
cheesy motivational posters we see in middle school and high school, you can do it. Da, 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 da. We blow it off as kids, but like that
Yeah.
shit is so real, you know?
Definitely.
You wake
Definitely.
up, today's gonna be a bad day. you better believe it's going to be a bad day.
Yeah.
You know?
You just told yourself it's gonna be a bad day. So I mean, you're in charge. You
That's it.
decide.
Exactly. You are in
Yeah.
charge. I'm glad you said that because it's true. Like people forget this is your life. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And see, it's funny that you keep saying about the 9 to 5 stuff, because like I'm at that point, like I feel like I'm in retention, and I'm just seeing like all the money that I've saved for, you know, the company I work for, and I'm just like, well, I could do this myself. Like I've made so much money, like with my art, my ideas, like
Yeah.
I just do it, and I just feel like I'm just stopping myself at every point. But like you said, it's just about progression.
Yeah.
Just,
That's it. Because again, I'm not here to talk anybody off a ledge or anything, right?
oh
But it's like,
no.
take care of responsibility, do what you got to do, but like we all have aspirations. We all have dreams. We all want to do something for self, I hope, but there's always time to do something for yourself.
Right.
You just got to find that time and carve it out and be more respectful of yourself. And my partner, Heidi Joy, taught me this big time. Boundaries. Set boundaries, not just for yourself, but for other people who have access to you. And it's like, we are in an age of where people just feel like they have access to you because they know you, they got your number, they got your DMs. Like, stop, leave me alone. And to be real about it, and it's like it's so important. It's so important. I've got 2 boys, 2 kids, and it's like boundaries are huge. Huge. Whether it be consensual, like sex, anything. It's like. It's huge, and that taps into like your feelings, your emotions. If you don't set those boundaries for yourself, you can find yourself in a precarious situation.
Exactly. Stressing all the time. Why am I so exhausted? Why can't I work on what I want to work on? Because you're automatically just getting up and just going straight to this job. You do nothing else for yourself until maybe the end of the day, and that's sleep because you're so tired from that job. Like, yeah, like that's not the move. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
For sure. So, how do you continue to find inspiration and love in places where people have decided it definitely doesn't live or it may not be?
That's just one person's idea of what one thing is. We're all with self-thought and we have our own opinions. So like when someone tells me something is not what they think it is, that's okay. That's on you. That's how you think, But I find inspiration in everything. Like everybody that's around me, everything around me, like I was saying, the level of contrast and like reflection that I have or that I try to practice is I look around and I'll be driving, like I said, and I'll look out the window and just be like, wow, look at that, how this is affecting with this. And it's like, that's beautiful that this works together. I'm a big bug guy, big outdoor guy, big nature buff or whatever. And just to be able to think about like how Mother Nature works, like nothing tells the trees to grow, the grass just does that, birds work together with this and ecosystems come together to work together. That shit is fascinating to me.
Right.
Fascinating to me. To where everything around me, just like the way the world exists, is like inspiring to me.
Right.
And then on top of that, to have done so much in the world of marketing for so many years, to just see the gift and the curse that marketing is and that it can be. It's for the good, it's for the bad. But there's my friends, my family, my strangers, anyone. Somebody's got a cool hat, whatever. Inspiration is everywhere. If you're looking for it, you got to be looking for it. You got to be aware of what's around you.
Definitely.
But yeah.
I agree. Like I was listening to a TED talk the other day, and she was saying one of the prime ways we induce fear and like bad experiences within our lives is like what we listen to, what we read, and what we watch.
Yeah.
I agree. Like
yeah.
Like there's a TV show, and I won't mention it because I know a lot of people watch it, and I used to as well. And it's very violent. It's very violent. I'm like, yeah, like I love this show. And then my husband just comes in the other day and is like, I'm not watching it anymore. I was just like, dang, like I was feeling that, and then you really just, so I'm like, darn, like I can consciously watch this now and feel like I'm not wasting time.
But
So
that's the
yeah.
thing. That's what, like I said, we are marketed in
Mm-hmm.
every way, all
Yeah.
day, every day.
Yeah.
So content, whatever content is everything. You can be creating content using everything, but everything around us is content. You drive down the street, billboards. Just think about what a billboard is. You just drive it down the interstate, and it's just
Right.
a big ass part, like a sign that just says some kind of advertisement. So anywhere you look, the radio, TV, your phone, newspaper, magazines, even airplanes in the sky are giving us messages to
Yeah.
buy something, to read, to check into something. But especially when it comes down to like TV and movies, like it's crazy where it hit me again 3-4 years ago with my kids, or my oldest son Lennon. He wasn't watching any of this stuff, but I remember there was a popular show around the time, and the subject matter was like high schoolers and suicide, right? And the fact that they had taken a subject as serious as suicide and made a Netflix special about it just didn't vibe well with me. And then to the level of how they kind of portrayed it, right? Where it was weird. And then on top of that, like looking at other shows that they take like real cold cases, or like shows about like murder and things like that.
Yeah.
Real trauma in someone's life that they've then taken and turned into entertainment to then sell a show on Netflix. It's like some things just don't need to be turned into entertainment, and then in that it makes it sexy, it makes it entertaining, it makes it attractive for people to digest it. And like you said, to watch a show like that is desensitizing. It makes things not so hard to swallow when you see them in person.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I totally agree. So, as a creator and entrepreneur, what are logical ways that you use to remain focused and actually accomplish your goals?
Herb definitely does help. Herb helps a lot. I used to be against it for years. I didn't understand it though, right? But for me, it helps me with a lot of thought processing, thought generation and thought processing, where I can then start to break the idea down further. I do tend to, we all get, do tend to get sidetracked here and there, but there are definitely times for that. But focus, I use my calendar for everything. If it's not on my calendar, it kind of doesn't really exist in some capacity. And I kind of still struggle with it here and there. My partner helps a lot with it. But like the struggling part came from like trying to see, working to see my friends, or like wanting to hang out because I'm an entrepreneur. Everybody has like they all do their own thing, whether it be a 9 to 5 or whatever. But like, I'm moving. I'm always doing things. I'm always going to be somewhere. We homeschool, always somewhere doing something. So it's like I want to hang out, but like if it's not on my calendar, like I will forget. I'm sorry, but I will forget. So give me a time, give me a day, a location, so I can at least put that in there so I can block that out. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. On top of that, just my phone being able to make albums for me. Again, Heidi Joy, shout out Heidi Joy for this, for helping me like start to put more focus in how to maneuver and finding things on our smartphones. Crazy tools. But yeah, that's how I work on my focus.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing. Like, whatever gets my attention, and I'm just gonna go and just keep moving throughout the day, really. And like you said, it has to be, for me, I have like multiple calendars. Like, I have the digital one, I have the one I hold in my hand, the one on my wall. Like, it's got to be there, or it doesn't exist, like you said.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's not I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It's just like, hey, if we don't give me the time or we put something together, I don't know if I'm gonna remember this.
Exactly. And like you said, the it's funny that you said the herb because I was watching the video with Dame Dash the other day. I watch a lot of interviews, and
Mm-hmm.
he was saying how marijuana helps him, like, because it's like a fog. Like he needs that because his mind is like just going. And
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Like I need that time to slow down and, like you said, process and pick apart those ideas and actually
Mm-hmm.
get them done. Yeah,
Yep.
that's definitely necessary.
Yep.
So, how many times have you had to refocus?
I mean, I never really like thought of that. I guess I refocus all the time, but like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the entrepreneurship road is a rough one. Um, it's not for the faint of heart, as they say. It's not easy. It can be lonely at times where you feel like, sometimes you'll second guess yourself, whether it be entrepreneurship or anything. You start to second guess yourself, and it's like, do I really want to keep on doing this?
Right. Right.
Maybe I could do this instead, and
Mm-hmm.
I could do this on the side again. It's like, man, you know what? Dead that. Forget all
Yeah.
that shit. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing, and then getting back to that vision. Again, going back to the idea of being able to contrast and like reflect on what I was doing, where I'm at, and then having to refocus on the task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I think I like you said, it's honestly a continuous process. Like you might have to readjust constantly, but as long as you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
get it done. Who cares how long it takes or
Yeah.
whatever? Do your
Yeah.
thing. Do
It's your
your thing.
timeline.
Yes.
You said
Yes.
it. You're in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, who or what helps you to remain focused when you just don't feel like doing anything anymore? Like you just want to
Um,
give.
my family, big time.
Yeah.
My kids, being able to see
Mhm.
daddy, do what he loves to do every day,
Yeah.
is I'm lead by an example. Leading by example, number one. And then for years, people would tell me, "Yo, be the example for people out
Mhm.
there." And I would always say, "I don't know. I'm not being an example for these other people. I'm just being me." But I recognize, like, yeah, it's real. To show people that like things that you want to do aren't as far away, or they're not as
Mhm.
unachievable as you would think they are. Like I was saying at the very beginning of this call, the biggest thing that kills dreams is self doubt. So like to be, again, I'm just a normal dude who wanted to do something for himself and tried something, and you never be afraid to ask questions or do things for yourself. So to do that is, I think, number one. Just like believe in yourself, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, definitely. So we're almost out of time, but I really do thank you for coming, and I love this conversation. I'll link back up again for sure. So I
And
got, I think, two more questions. Two more questions.
yeah.
So, well, actually, three. I lied. Three. So, what has been the most enjoyable interview or event you have had the pleasure of being a part of? And how did you come across the opportunity?
One that I didn't like create, or
Just either one.
um I would have to say, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, the munchie, my first munchie market, my very first Namarama munchie market.
Okay.
Um, and the munchie market is, or was, an open air food concept that I invited multiple food pop ups to one location to either jumpstart their pop up idea or work to gain more of a following in the respect of what they were doing for the business. An incubator of sorts. So the very first one was with Smart Mouth Brewery and Benchtop Brewery in the Chelsea area of Norfolk. And
Mm-hmm.
we had, yeah, so it was two different locations. Me and my partner, Mike, coordinated and worked with local pop ups in 757, in Richmond, and in DC area to pull up between the two different breweries, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a dope time. So like you got in for free, but every single menu that was being produced was like within a certain like $4 to $5 range. And it was just like I said, local love, like hella local love. People were coming from all over the place to patronize both of the breweries, you know, buying items from every single pop-up because they were low price points. And then switching breweries, you know. I'm done at Smart Mouth. I'm gonna go to Bench Top. I'm gonna kick it here for, you know, an hour and get all the food here. I'm done here. I'm gonna go to Smart Mouth and do the whole thing over again. And to look back on that was just like, that was tight. I remember the owner, one of the owners at Smart Mouth, I was asking questions about stuff, and she was like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're blazing a trail here. Like, you're the first one to do this. And I was like, that's crazy, you know. That was probably one of my number one like events.
That's awesome. Cause I bet it was like, well, what else can I do? Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Just try it, I guess, and then we'll go from there.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, was it difficult to master your passion and turn it into something tangible and profitable? Like, how hard was that?
I don't know. It's part of the vision, you know. It's part of the vision. Where again, I saw other people doing things in this light. It's not exactly the same that I do now, but parts of it are different than, because I'm a mixed bag with what I do. So for one example, I have also done social media management for multiple restaurants, where that means like I'm doing content, posting, scheduling, marketing, you know, carrying those restaurants on my back while all these other things. But you just tap into what you like to do, and then in that you find like an audience. But even before you find an audience, you tap into what you like to do, and then you find there's something that comes up where there's a correlation to where, okay, this is either valuable or I can flip this in some capacity, whether it be like beneficial to people, whether you're selling it or giving it away as like information, or you find a way to tap in and monetize it. And that comes with like being aware of yourself and knowing your worth and your value. Because when we think about it, it's like, oh, it's just an idea. Like you said, I got all these crazy ideas. I don't want to share them. It's like, you know, I don't share them with everybody, but like those ideas are amazing. Everyone has amazing ideas. Don't shortchange yourself, you know, tap in.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yes, I will take that to heart. Keep that. You're right. You're definitely right. Oh man. Okay. You just got me thinking about a whole lot. So was it ever a struggle to protect your vision, like physically and mentally?
I mean, I guess, yeah. When the word influencer came out, big time, I teetered with, you know, I'm an influencer. And I also came out, was like, nah, I'm not. Like, yeah, I'm an influencer. I influence people to support local business. I influence people to tap into who they are as an individual. Where there's a difference between, like, the negative connotation to influencer versus what I do as an influencer. So yeah, it was a struggle when that word first came out, because I was like, I don't know. But outside of that, I don't really think there was much struggle with like who I am or what I'm doing in this space. There's that idea of imposter syndrome, where it's like, and saying that gives it weight, you know, it brings light to what the negativity around it. But it's like, to be in a space. Yeah, so I really wanted to work for a agency for years. For years, I wanted to work with an agency, with a marketing agency, big time. Even tried to tap into it when I was working my corporate positions, but they weren't hearing it. But kind of second guessing what I was doing, you know, starting to second guess myself. But I eventually got to work at an agency somewhere here in Norfolk. Was doing sales for them and business development, and was butting heads with the CEO, the owner, not like physically or anything, but like, if we don't do this, we're not going to be here next quarter, et cetera, et cetera. But then like, and this, just sharing ideas that I knew had worked, that I had known had been working for myself or other companies I was working with, and just being
Right.
like, am I crazy? You know, like, am I
Mhm.
tripping? And I said, nah, I'm not. They just don't know what they're talking about. Just because they are the CEO of this agency, it just is
Mhm.
a title, you know, it's a certain case. And like,
Right.
they were not in the mental capacity to be in that position for that type of work, is what it ended up being.
Got you.
Um, no slight against them. There's
Yeah.
genius. They're brilliant in other ways, but like in that
Mhm.
respect, I was like, I can't vibe with this. I'm not. I can't do well with this. And then like
Right.
6 months later, half the company gets laid off.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, it wasn't in alignment with you.
Yep.
That's yeah. That's okay. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Definitely. You just gotta see what your audience is really too. You know,
Yeah.
just see how you fit with this, or maybe it's just not the right place for you to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
that's
feelings.
yes, yes. You're right. So okay, if you could tell somebody, and this is the last question I ask you. I promise, last question.
You good?
Well, if you could tell someone three things, what would you suggest they could do to protect their vision while
Um,
attempting to share it with others?
real G's. I mean, it's not three things, but Lil Wayne said it. Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Right.
It's real because like I was just talking about this with my mom, my partner. You know, if you have an idea for something
Yeah.
and you share it with somebody or you breathe it into existence and you don't move and act on it,
Yeah.
whether it be a week later, a month later, a year later, years down the line, someone's going to do it. And you can be like, damn, that's my idea. So
Yes.
it's like, just don't say shit. Just, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, within your trusted circle, of course, to some people,
Mhm.
whatever, that may look different. But just like, don't
Yeah.
say anything to anybody. And I'm guilty of that myself too. With like earlier years, I'd be like, oh, I'm working on this, you know, da 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 da. Like, shout out me, da da da. I was like, nah,
Right.
nah, yeah,
Yeah. Just drop it. Just drop the album. Like, don't give
yep,
me. We were watching a podcast earlier today, me and my husband. Like, I just don't like when movies are like, oh, we're starting to shoot for this movie. Like, don't
yeah.
show me that shit. Like, show me the trailer to the
But
movie. Tell me when it's coming out. Like, I need that.
but that's
But yeah, I'm guilty of that too. And I think it's because like most of the time, back to what you're saying, like just seeing like your own value, knowing your worth. Like I was constantly looking for like, is somebody gonna like this? Like, is
yeah,
this okay to put this out? Like, no, like do it. Like you said, somebody's gonna do it. The
yeah.
universe needs to get that done. Whether you're gonna do it or not, it's up to you. So yes, I
That
definitely agree. I agree.
that is exactly it. I've seen so many times where it's like, even my brother, he's brilliant. He's a designer, a videographer. I mean, you name it, dude is killing it. He designed a whole line of like clothes from his brand Dweeb Lifestyle years ago, and he's like been a fashion forecaster for years.
Mhm.
And he would just like share these ideas with me, and he would design them and like share them on like social. And like, I have an idea to do
Mhm.
this, and then someone would just jack it, and it'd be like years later, and they produce the garment or whatever. He's like, man, see, I was talking about doing this or whatever. But yeah, and I've been it's been happen it happens to me too, where it's like I would be
Mhm.
just talking about it with somebody, and it's not like they may have intentionally done it. In some cases,
Mhm.
that has happened where I've shared an idea and someone stole it. But yeah, just don't say shit. My man Tremaine is big on that too. My brother Jamal is big on it now too, where it's like, nah, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
put the work in and then drop it when it's ready, which I
Exactly.
commend heavily.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for this, Jarell. We got a tradition here. You got to name my piece, and I got to name yours. And then
Uh, I didn't really
well,
do too much.
let me see. We don't no judgment here.
Oh no, it's so good.
Ooh, yes,
Yeah,
love,
it's
local love.
the tag. I'm gonna
I
call
love
yours
it.
vision. I mean,
Vision.
yeah, because like
Okay.
it's like looking into like a portal. For me from this viewpoint, like it looks very like I'm diving into a portal of some sort. So to say that like
Mm.
my vision, I feel my vision, I see my vision, I'm going through the motions to get to where I need to be within my vision. I'm going through that portal. You know what I mean?
That's definitely
Yeah.
how I feel, like swimming, like I'm swimming. That's
Yeah.
definitely how I feel. So thank you for that. I love it. And please make sure you send me a picture of your drawing as well.
But
And is there anything you want to tell us about what you got coming up? Where can we follow you? I'm going to tag all that stuff in here when I
okay.
repost it. But
Um
anything you want to tell us?
yeah, just keep tuning in. Namarama. Shout out to my man Tremaine for the recent release of the Dukes mayonnaise
Ooh,
bonus episodes. They bought a couple episodes of just dropping in. Uh,
nice.
yeah, so tune into those, please. Go to Dukes Mayo Instagram. They got them on YouTube. There's a couple of them. Keep an eye out for that. And
Okay.
just stay tuned. You know, like there's so much to do. Support local business first and
For
always, you know, and be nice. Be nice to people.
sure. And be nice to yourself.
Be nice to
Stop being-
yourself, 100%. And thank you, Tamika. I appreciate it. This was fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you had a good time. I enjoyed it. Thank you again so much. We'll be in touch. And peace out to everyone. Have a good night.
Later. Peace.
Bye.